are rolling. We are rolling. Hello, hello. Welcome in, friendos. It is September 21st, Thursday. Beautiful. We can't even say the way we used to talk about summer is that we're warm in September. You know what the word is?
Autumn?
Indian summer? I don't know if we could say
that.
Oh,
you can't
Can we say that?
that.
Oh, I just did.
No.
Native American summer?
I think that's worse.
That's worse.
I feel like it's worse.
All right. It's a beautiful September 21st. Feels like summer. Still got the top down on my Jeep. I'm holding on as long as I can. Forget about Paul and him talking about snow on Sunday. Boo! Yeah. I love the fact, though, that he could bring something like that, knowing he was going to get booed. It just shows his comfortability level now, having been here 6 months, and he can go up there and talk about anything. Comfort, what?
There's a word for comfortability level. It's comfort.
I think I just said comfort level.
Comfortability level.
Comfortability. But hi, Greg, by the way.
Hi, Greg.
You turn on your mic.
I'm going to just make a dramatic entrance every week.
That was pretty dramatic. Yeah.
Like that.
Critical.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Better.
Yeah, how was youth group last night?
Awesome.
Awesome.
I fulfilled a dream of being a game show host. So
Brax Barker?
yeah, I was a little.
Brax Barker?
I wasn't sure if Bob Barker
I don't know.
was problematic.
Doesn't stick, does it?
Bob Barker? Is he
Yeah,
problematic?
I don't remember.
Other than when he beat up Adam Sandler.
Oh, it was
Which was
perfect.
hilarious.
The
Yeah.
price
Get
is
canceled.
wrong.
Adam,
Stuff.
pal, bud. Did you say buddy?
Yeah.
Like the
he said-
president. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, pal.
It was some
Listen,
B
pal.
word.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was awesome. I realized after, like, normally with youth group games we're trying to keep them short enough to fit it in the night.
Yep.
I realized afterwards that if we had had real commercials, we basically did an entire episode of The Price is Right.
Well, I mean, normally they're like an hour long with commercials.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we
it's
would
an
have
hour
done
long.
like the half-hour version.
Yeah.
Some minute.
'Cause they
22
do-
minutes.
Yeah.
Half-hour sitcom was like 22 minutes, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were
So
basically
44
that.
minutes?
Yeah. We.
But it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much
It
fun.
was a lot of fun.
When Noah Van and Ninety played Plinko,
And then he got
He
the
got
last
it.
one. The crowd just erupted.
we lost it.
It was Jay and I were like, "Whoa, look at that!"
It was so cool.
Yeah.
I'm calling a fix. I'm calling a fix on that one. I was in there when I heard
Well,
Jay.
there was supposed to
the
be a
announcer
girl.
Jay. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on her name. I
Caitlin?
was in there for that.
Caitlin?
No, Hackett.
Yeah, Olivia.
Olivia. That's
yeah.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
well, she probably would have never gone up there anyways.
Yeah. Some people, it's like that's not their
Was
thing.
she even in there?
She was in the room.
She just
Yeah.
didn't want to go
yeah.
up.
Yeah. It's
Right.
like good
Gonna-
for you, Olivia.
Yeah.
Way to sit your ground.
Meanwhile, I had one of my kids run to the back of the room. Dad, how do I get my name in there? I'm like, you get here on time at 6:15 instead of 6:35. That's how you get your name.
Crazy.
Whose fault is that?
His own.
Oh, it wasn't yours?
No.
Oh, okay.
He went to a friend's house to see if his friends wanted to come to youth group, which
Which is
is
very
good.
cool.
That is very
Which
cool.
I told him, but listen, you got to go and ask. If they can, they can. If they can't, you can't wait because you got to be there at 6:15.
Yep.
And I was in the office over here at 6:30 after having taken Riley in, and Asher was already Asher was early, but
Yeah.
and I see them come walking up the. I'm like, dude, you're 15 minutes late. You better go down there. So
And
it
then
was
they
kinda
wandered
fun.
around for a
natural.
while.
I know. I heard all about it. Natural consequences though.
Yeah. It was a ton of fun, though.
Yeah.
It looked awesome.
I'm tired today, though.
Yeah,
Like-
it's an adrenaline
Yeah.
rush and then letdown.
Yeah. Well, and then I
Like-
taught afterwards for high school.
Right.
Which is like short form preaching-ish.
Right.
You know, way more interaction. We had ice cream and cake. Because here's what's hilarious.
Dude, if you're
Ice
in
cream
high
and
school,
cake and
Yeah.
cake.
ice cream and cake,
Yep.
games,
Popcorn.
prizes, popcorn,
Yeah.
sit around and talk about Jesus. Man, you're
Yeah.
missing out if you're not coming on
Yeah.
Wednesday night. By the way, if you don't know who that is, that's Brax.
I'm Brax.
That's our youth pastor. Mike is down doing work stuff. Boring. I mean, we're doing work stuff, which is awesome that we're doing this for work.
Right.
But
Mike has actuarial functions. to
Actuarial
consider. Remember
functions.
that term?
That sounds rich.
yeah.
He dropped that phrase a couple weeks ago. And
On the podcast?
Yep.
I knew what it was. I'm familiar with actuaries.
I'm familiar.
I heard the words.
I always
not together like that.
For
but
some reason, it makes me think of birds.
Yeah,
an actuary.
Aviary, right?
Right? Yeah. Or I would think that it would be like a type
Avian
of bird.
flu. We hear about an avian
Yeah.
flu.
Actuary flu.
Yeah.
Actuary flu.
Do you see that flying above my house? That's an actuary.
Actuary flu. Just groups of statisticians and math nerds getting sick.
Yeah.
See you, Paula.
Layla loves youth group. We know.
Oh,
Love Layla.
awesome.
Layla's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
She came and sang with me last night, just
Yeah.
kind of so I could hear her voice, and
Yeah.
we're gonna try to get her singing on a Wednesday night here.
Yeah.
But so that's really cool.
Yeah.
How are you, Greg?
Doing all right. Had to
Just-
run a quick errand to tie up my, I think, last loose end from Block Party. So
Okay.
Cool.
had to go fetch a receipt.
Fetch a receipt.
Yeah.
Oh, from the place that you said they were kind of old school.
Well, they
don't-
were,
they
yeah,
do-
their email got hacked 6 months ago, and they can't email. It's like
Awesome.
All right.
I love
fun
that.
running a business in today's day and age without
All right.
that ability.
The Amish survive.
Yeah,
You know?
I
But even
suppose.
they're getting more advanced. They're kind of
Yeah.
I saw what was this? It was one of the NFL. What NFL pregame show is Marshawn Lynch a part of now? Do you know? He's on something. but
probably Fox. That's
we
probably
were
the
watching.
Most,
He did a thing like a segment where they went into an Amish community or something, and it's Marshawn Lynch, so it's already funny. But he's like he sees all the manure and stuff. He's like, I picked the wrong day to wear J's. Like he's guys worried about getting his Jordans messy. But the lady that was the Amish lady was giving him a tour or whatever comes out with a lantern and it's LED battery. He goes, wait a minute, I thought you couldn't use electricity. She goes, this is battery operated.
Oh.
So
So
it's
they're-
like
so
this
they're
loophole.
So you can buy
Yeah, but then
as
how
an
do you
Amish
charge the
person?
battery?
Well, maybe you
just
just
put
buy
new
it
batteries
charged.
in it.
Yeah.
No, it's like like a rechargeable, like like you do cordless drill or something, like a
Maybe
rechargeable.
they outsource that to friends.
Maybe they just
They're
leave
like,
it out
"Hey,
on the
hey, man."
street, and someone comes and picks it up and charges it for
Hey,
him.
brother,
in
can you?
exchange
That
for
seems like a weird way
in
to
exchange for
milk?
circumvent a
Yeah.
lifestyle, though.
I'll give
Right,
you
yeah.
freshly churned butter in exchange for
I need my
you
batteries
charging these
charged.
batteries.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess
He was on a show,
he's funny, man.
an improv show on Netflix that had Will Arnett,
Mm.
and it was a crime detective comedy, but it was all. They would invite us a different guest, like so. Marshawn was one of the guests, Conan O'Brien was one of the guests. Everybody else's is
You
script.
could not pick two more opposite people.
Everybody else's is scripted
Yeah.
in terms of here's the murder that takes place and here's the person who did it.
Okay.
But the guest is totally improv. They don't
That
give
is
them any
awesome.
lines.
Oh. I
and so
love
Will's
that.
the main detective, and he's sort of guiding this guest
Yeah.
through this detective adventure. And then at the end, the guest has to accuse somebody of the murder.
That is
It's
so
pretty
much
good. So
fun.
Marshawn was one of them.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think I've shared this before. When he retired
What's up, Josh?
the first time, when he retired from the Seahawks, he had not spent one penny of his NFL earnings.
Yeah.
He retired relatively like 29 or 30.
But all
I
of
think.
his
But all
Skittles money.
endorsements. But he had this rep. He always had this rep because he's grew up
Gangster.
in Oakland. Like he was just a dumb like gang, not gangster, but just kind of, ran with those kids. Grew up in a tough crowd, and he's kind of, I guess, introverted. He never really liked media stuff, and so I think when you don't like
I'm
the
just
media,
here
the
so I don't
media-
get fired.
The media.
That's what he said
Yeah,
for
I'm
a
just
press
at
conference. I'm just here so I don't get fired.
or fined. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the NFL would fine you if you weren't.
That's
But so he
amazing.
had that reputation of being like, he wore, the grills and jewelry and stuff and all that. So it was like, oh,
He's
but
a
when he
thug.
retired,
Just a thug.
yes, that's
Yeah.
the word. Thank you. They use. I couldn't think of it. But he didn't. He hadn't spent
I
one.
thought you were just trying not to say it. I'll say all
no,
the
I
things that
couldn't.
you guys don't
I
want
couldn't
to say.
think of that. That
Okay.
is the term that people would use. Not one penny of his NFL earnings.
That's
like,
great.
see, he's a smart dude, and he retired at. I think he was 29. He was pretty young, or 30, And so before he had major head injuries, which is
Kind of the Robert Smith. You remember him?
yep. And what's his name? Megatron.
Megatron. You know, his
same
hands
thing.
were like broken though. Have you ever seen
Yeah,
his
but
hands?
still, he was like 29 years old.
I know, but his fingers were like all of them were going in a different direction.
Ugh.
Did I see a thing where Tom Brady's career spanned longer than Megatron's? Wait,
Life.
no, because it wouldn't have been that long. But like high school, college, and NFL career or something like that. I
All
don't know.
together could have been longer than
Could have been.
Calvin.
Yeah. Whatever. We'll just make stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's.
Sure.
My point is,
Quote us on this.
Yes.
Marshawn Lynch,
On the internet
We're
forever.
going to be your source.
California Bears, Berkeley, same backfield as Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, wow.
Good team every year.
They played
That
together?
was- yeah.
Oh, wow.
Same backfield.
Wow.
Guess what? 0-4 against USC. Pete Carroll,
Yeah.
just dominated Cal. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about USC being dominant in the early
Yeah, you
I've
can talk
already
about that
bored
over
the
there.
Rex.
I was starting to think I picked the wrong week.
Big
to
Ten
be
country.
here.
I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for, Big Ten.
I don't think we ever wish to have USC.
Go
That
look at
just seems
USC's
weird
record
that they
against. It's really weird. I love it because now, at least once or twice a year, it's relatively driving
you
distance. I can
might go
to a game.
get to a game. I'll
They're-
go with you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Well, not,
even though
I
I
mean,
could care less about the Gophers. I mean,
well,
I could care less.
you couldn't or could.
I could care less. There's a small amount.
So you care a little bit.
I care a little bit just because I live in Minnesota, but
I've been to one Gopher game.
I've never been to a
They
single.
played
Gopher
USC back in.
game. I've been to a Gopher basketball
2000
game.
something.
Greg has an obsession.
Yeah.
That's what we grew up at.
We didn't even go to USC though.
No.
It's not his alma mater.
Nope. Oh, to be fair, my alma mater didn't have football.
It's always about California, Brian
That's right.
Rodek says.
You got
California.
Rodek. Hey, I almost got run off the freeway by one of your coworkers earlier.
California.
So pipe down there.
Here we come. You know that song?
No.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
That
you
was,
should know that song. It was a
Hotel
The
theme
OC?
song
California.
to it. Was it?
The OC.
I never watched an episode of that show.
Me neither. But the city I
So
lived in
I know
sued
what
the
that is,
show.
and then I'm just like, as a youth pastor, I'm just thinking no one that
What?
I would talk to would have any idea what the OC
What does it
is.
sound, what does it stand for?
Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just make.
So fun fact.
90210.
See, I do know that.
The
'cause
guy,
that was
there
when
was
I
a
was growing
character
up.
that was
Yeah.
supposed to be the tough or troubled kid in the OC. He was supposed to be from Chino. But all the scenes, which is where I lived,
It's not Chino.
no, it was like Long Beach and South Central. They would go film like,
Because they don't want to
But
go to
see,
Chino.
no, but
People
the city
in
sued
California
the production
would
company.
know if they're watching it and there's like supposed to be Chino,
Yeah.
and it's like that's not Chino.
No, they would. But Chino's like the Inland Empire is a place that Orange County and
Inland Empire.
L.A. people make fun of.
Sounds like a California.
It is.
Town name.
San Bernardino, Riverside,
Yeah.
Ontario, Chino,
not
Fontana.
like Wayzata.
Yeah.
They had, I think it was one of the Vikings games where they had a bunch of different players trying to pronounce
Yeah,
that name, Wayzata.
it's awesome.
Anyway,
Oof.
What's an area here that like in the metro people would make fun of?
make fun of.
Just everywhere
Monticello.
outside the metro. Yeah,
Monticello.
Monticello. Or they,
Why would people make fun of Monticello?
I don't know.
Okay.
just
just think
because it's
that they
far enough
would.
outside the metro?
Yeah.
So that's the idea. Like that's the Inland Empire. That's where I grew up. So that's like we always had a chip on our shoulder, especially playing sports. If you play an Orange County team, it's like it just felt so much better to beat them. So it'd be like a hockey team from Monticello going and just beating up on Edina or
Yeah,
Minnetonka.
I
or
bet that
something.
would feel good.
It'd feel great.
Well, Rogers' football team this year in the last couple of years has been kind of elevating.
Yeah.
And now that they're kind of making some noise in the high school football scene.
Their
See, Brian,
baseball team, they got a really good baseball program. I think they had a down year this year, but they had a bunch of young kids. But the previous this last spring, but the previous 2 years, they went, I think, the state finals. Like, yeah.
is Kapsner? Do you know if Kapsner's doing the
I don't
coaching?
think he coaches anymore.
No,
I think he
Okay.
just does chemistry teaching.
Yeah.
I know he was assistant coaching or coaching one squad on the.
It's funny, I actually just messaged him a meme earlier. It's funny. It was like, this time of year you see the Spirit, like the costumes.
Yeah.
It was high school offensive coordinator. uniform. It was just like sunglasses and a clipboard with the same 10 plays.
Well, that's high school. Run. All of them are run except for one.
Yep.
There's a little pass. Give us a little taste, Brax, of what are the students learning on Wednesday nights these days?
Yeah, we this next week are going to wrap up a 3-week series called Fight, which has been a lot of fun. I have loved your intro songs for youth group. First week we did "Eye of the Tiger," which some of our younger leaders lovingly said, "Oh, nice! They're playing Rocky in there." But yeah, Fight, and then this last week you did "Roar" by Katy Perry. These are not worship songs, just so you know.
It's just
we're
fun
not
opener type
it's
songs.
just fun.
Yeah.
But we've been
Which, by the way, both the drums
Sorry, I'm distracting.
in the band, Alex played the first week, killed it
Yep.
with "Eye of the Tiger,"
Yeah.
and then X played drums last night for "Roar."
yeah.
When those two guys came in after I was doing the little guitar intro,
Yeah.
and then they came in with the drums and the bass, man, it was, and then the kids were in there,
Yeah.
and it was so funny because there was a bunch of middle school girls in the front. Nobody knew what I was playing because normally the intro is like a little piano.
Yeah.
But then when I started singing,
Yeah.
there was this combination of eye roll, but like chagrin on all the girls' faces in the front. They're like, kind of
Was it like mixed with happiness
both,
and joy?
both,
Okay,
and then
all right.
also like this is corny, but
Yeah.
it's cool.
Of course it is.
And then they were all singing, singing to themselves.
That's
It's
awesome.
It's hilarious.
That's so great.
The eye roll was. My mom used to play this in the car. That's what they were thinking of.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's Fight, and we've been looking at basically how to fight the fight of faith when it comes to our relationships. So kind of a few different meanings on that. And week 1, we talked about we don't fight our enemies, we love our enemies. And that's a fundamental way of having faith in Jesus, is to know that when he commands us to love our enemies, that he knows what he's doing, and we can obey in that. And then this last week, we talked about how to have conversations by also doing something weird. Because like the first week is like, how should you fight? By turning the other cheek. Like, that's weird. And then this week was, how do you have conversations? Don't talk, listen. Because one of my favorite bits of Hebrew in the Old Testament is when Solomon asks for wisdom in 1 Kings 3. That's how we translate it, is that he asks for wisdom, but he asks for a listening heart. And that, for me, is so fundamental as to what it means to be a Christian, is that you have a listening heart, you listen to God, because otherwise you don't have any wisdom to go about life. But then also you listen to the people around you in order to understand what their needs are and to be able to actually bring a blessing. Because it's like, you can think that, I'll give you an example from last night. You can think that you're talking in a way that is going to be cool and relevant and helpful to an audience. But if you don't know them, then it's going to end badly. So when Mercedes-Benz decided that they were going to expand their market to China, they also decided that they would change their name for them in order to sound cooler. So they changed Mercedes-Benz to Benzie. In Chinese,
Benzie. What does that mean?
in Chinese, it means rush to die. So if they had taken like 10 minutes to talk to someone from China
Right.
and just say, hey, what does this sound like? They would laugh and go, yeah, it's probably not going to work.
It's kind of the
That's classic Chevy Nova.
Chevy Nova.
Yeah, no go.
Yeah.
Yep. So this idea of, in order to actually bless people, we need to listen to them, because otherwise we won't know where they're coming from. Yeah. We won't know what will actually bless them. Because it's the same idea like with love languages. It's like, you might be a physical touch kind of person, and the person that you're trying to show love to hates physical touch and would so much rather you do an act of service. So it's like you need to be able to listen to people. So that's what we talked about last night. This next week, we'll talk about the importance of boundaries and how boundaries are not a failure to love, but it's actually a deep part of how you love other people. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Cool.
It's been a fun series.
Yeah.
What song would you open with on that?
Well, we're
It's
actually
gotta be a
not doing
surprise.
music this week because it's going to be a dodgeball game night, and then food and fellowship.
Yep.
And so we thought we'll strategically not do music to make more space for those other things.
Yep.
You got to have an opening song.
Yeah. No, we're not. We don't have.
We'll just play it over a
one
speaker
up.
or
You
something.
can
then.
play some music in the
Yeah.
great room while they're doing.
I'll tell you
dodgeball.
what did not age well. Speaking of fighting and music,
Mortal Kombat.
Karate Kid soundtrack. For some reason, I had that the best around you.
Yeah, it's a
You're
great
the best.
song.
Okay, I had that song in my mind. I don't even know how that popped in my mind this morning. Taking Evan to school, and I was like, "Hey, let's turn on Karate Kid soundtrack." And it's, oh my goodness, this is horrible. So there's some good songs maybe in the movie that aren't on the official soundtrack, but like "Cruel Summer," Bananarama, it's a classic
Yeah,
80s
Cruel
song.
Summer is good,
It's
too.
great, but that's not on the official soundtrack.
Yeah,
but
I
that
guess-
song, it's like so.
I guess when
cheesy.
you do hear the best around it, it is played more in jest.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, it's like, this is clearly early 80s at its worst. I mean, just, yeah.
Yeah. At its best.
That song was the best.
All right,
one
Greg,
I've
you said
heard.
you had a game for Brax.
I do.
Yeah.
You go.
So I actually stole this. Andy always has these like top 10 things or, whatever he comes prepared with. I stole this from, do you know who Mookie Betts is?
Nope.
Brax, you should know who Mookie Betts is. He's one of the best players in baseball.
Oh, okay.
Don't say that like,
I-
you still don't
No,
know.
I have no idea still. But
if you
I
had
was
one
really
guess-
thinking that Mookie Betts was from like, what's
you
that
had to
TLC
guess-
show?
If you had to guess what team he's on,
Astros.
oh, please.
that actually could have been the worst choice that you had picked.
Dodgers.
Thank you. Although he was on a cheating team before the Red Sox were cheating. No. So Mookie, who has a fabulous podcast that you might enjoy, actually.
Yeah.
Even, I don't know, he interviews other baseball players from other teams, and it's usually, you could tell it's when they're on a road trip somewhere, he'll get a guy from the other team and interview him. It's kind of fun because you get to hear some, more personal side from a lot of these players. Have you listened to any of that, Andy?
not.
It's actually pretty good. Mookie's like just known as just a really good guy, down to earth, whatever. But one common theme that keeps coming up with a lot of the players, especially younger ones, is anime and how.
Yeah, okay.
And it's even Dominican players, American-born players. I think that's the only. Oh, one. Jazz Chisholm. He's Bahamas. Is it Bahamas, yeah. So like different countries even, but just the younger generation. These are mostly, guys in their early to mid 20s. Almost all of them said how much they're into anime and how they've always been huge into anime. It's interesting. So he has this game that he plays with them called, Celeste would say something about the Astros. The cheating Astros.
Yeah.
The Astros had this like huge cheating scandal go on.
No.
Yeah, anyway.
Bringing on garbage cans and
Oh,
to
yeah.
tell
Yep.
batters what pitch they.
Yeah.
I
They're
remember.
cheaters.
Yeah, I do remember about the garbage can thing.
Yeah. Anyway,
So-
so Mookie has this thing, and he did with one of them, like, okay, you got to rank your top 5 anime shows.
Okay.
He goes, but here's the thing. It's a blind top 5, I think he called it. So you have 5 slots to rank these things. You don't know what I'm going to ask you. Like, because you're a youth pastor, this is an easy one. It's an easy youth ministry. You eat a lot of pizza.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to
yeah.
ask you top 5 pizza toppings. But
Oh.
you don't just get to
Just
say them off the
toppings.
top of your head.
Okay.
For example, I have 5, and you have to place them in order.
Okay.
So if I were to say, this is a given, we're just going to assume cheese is already a
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
but if I were to say cheese, you would have to say, just not knowing what else you're going to get asked, you would have to rank cheese, and where would you rank that as a pizza topping? 1 being best, 5 being worst.
Okay.
It'll make
Okay.
sense once we get going.
All right.
It's really not
Hopefully.
that fun.
It's really.
But
not
I'm
that
introducing
fun.
this as something that we could do
With other guests.
with more. I'll be honest.
I like
At first,
your-
I was like, "Oh, with Brax,
Hands free.
the easy one would be Marvel," but it's like I feel like you get
Oh, so you're not
asked
doing
about
pizza
Marvel.
toppings.
I am doing pizza.
Oh,
Okay.
That's why I'm like, Brax gets asked about Marvel stuff all the time.
Yeah.
because you like Marvel.
Well, and I will say the MCU is
It jumped the shark. I'm
yeah,
gonna say it.
yeah. Well, and actually, in Multiverse of Madness, when Strange, like, used the corpse of another Doctor Strange from another multiverse to like, it was so weird.
Yeah.
That I was sitting in the theater and went, they jumped the shark. They finally did it. And I've just, at this point in my life, another MCU movie stresses me out because I'm like, I feel like this isn't like something I want to go watch. I feel like it's a chore that I have to go watch it. And yeah,
Were
anyway,
you in or out? Were you in or out on Black Panther 2?
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
What?
I still haven't seen it because
This in
listen,
itself is a surprise.
I love Chadwick Boseman.
I know it's hard.
And to go and watch the movie would mean that I am accepting that he's gone.
Well,
And I just can't,
yeah.
you know?
Well,
Because that guy
I-
was awesome.
I was afraid, but we went because
Just watched it.
Asher and I both. That's like, well, Asher bounces between Black Panther and Winter Soldier as far as like his favorite
Yeah.
Marvel movie, but
Yeah. Those are great.
Black Panther's still mine. I
It's
think.
so good.
So we had to,
Yeah.
and I will say I like the way they
They honored him.
honored him, dealt
Yeah.
with it. Like as hard as it is,
I-
it's still not the same thing.
I wish that they would have just like at the time when they said, "Well, we're gonna kind of change gears and have Shuri be Black Panther," it's like, yeah, that's probably the best move because you can't replace Chadwick. But now I'm like, you should replace Chadwick, like
Does
because
his family say like
I
he
don't.
would, he would
like,
want
until
you
you
to
see the
replace-
movie, you should probably
Yeah,
hold.
That's
Reserve
fair.
ju- Just
Yeah.
go watch it.
judgment.
Man.
I
Do you
got
still
it,
have
yeah.
Disney?
I have Disney.
It's on
Plus, yeah.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
There's nothing else worth watching on Disney Plus. Oh,
Ahsoka
hold on,
sounds
hold on,
good.
hold on.
Ahsoka.
Whatever. I'm done with Star Wars. 2,
Little
it's
Mermaid,
like-
did you see
it's
that?
Just, yeah.
Oh,
No,
you're
Jordan
serious?
I watched.
Jordan and
Do you think
and
it was
Riley
good?
watched
No,
it.
no.
Okay.
It was hard. It was actually really hard. to
Why?
watch.
I
It was
bet.
way too long. First of all, it didn't need to be that long. They added extra songs.
Aquafina tried to rap.
Yep.
Aquafina's funny.
She is funny, but she's
like
not a good
Aquafina.
rapper.
It's
No,
just.
not rapping. And the guy from Hamilton was in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the lobster, wasn't he?
Lobster,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I watched clips and I was like, this isn't whimsical at all.
No.
It's just the barren ocean
Right.
that this girl is swimming around in.
So more realistic. is what
Yeah,
you're
but
saying?
it's like it's not supposed to be realistic.
I know.
Like that's the whole point
I
of
know.
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the Disney animated one, it's just a classic, so it's
It
really
is.
hard to.
Yeah. It's fun.
I
So if you
watched
were to
that
come-
other show, Elemental.
Yeah, I
That
watched
was
that
pretty
too.
good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was easy to watch, and
It wasn't as good as Zootopia. I feel like that's the most comparable animated movie. But it was good. I cried.
hey, Inside Out.
Oh, dude.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's amazing.
We watched that recently. Well, I listened to it. The kids watched it in the van on the way to Texas.
Yeah.
Like again, that it's
But I
really
like
good.
I like those animated shows that have like so many layers to
Yeah.
it. Like Elemental has layers of, immigrants and identity
Yep.
and relationships, whether it's
Love.
love, mother
Yeah.
and father,
Yep.
daughter and father relationship.
Yeah.
Kind of parents letting their child kind of go out into the world.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
It was good.
Did you watch the Saint of Second Chances yet?
No,
Netflix.
no.
I watched that the other day. Tuesday, I was taking my Labor Day off, but ended up doing a lot of work from home. But I had that on in the background while I was doing some work, and it's really good. It's about the Vec family.
Also, it's a
started-
documentary.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's really good. I mean, it's another baseball thing, but he's
okay.
the guy that started the St. Paul Saints. And his
Oh.
dad was the owner of the White Sox back in the day, and they had these crazy promotions. Mike, so the son and dad kind of had this idea that like, why can't baseball games be also a little bit crazy. And so they had Burn Your Disco Records Night is a famous one because it ended up being a literal disaster. Between a doubleheader, they were going to have everyone could bring a disco record.
Yeah.
This is like early 80s or late 70s when people were fed up with disco or something. I don't know, whatever. And you could deposit your disco record into a box, and then in between the games of the doubleheader, they're going to explode it on the field. And it ended up being like literal like fire. They had to cancel the second game. It became like a PR nightmare and everything.
That's hilarious.
But, they had where they made the team wear shorts for a game. Major League Baseball team, White Sox wear shorts, which just looked ridiculous. They had these crazy like uniforms with huge collars and all these weird promotions. Anyway, fast forward, they're out of baseball for a bit, and then he gets contacted, and he gets the opportunity to come start St. Paul Saints. And you've been to a Saints game? You would know.
Don't know if I have.
Because it's not like the Twins. I mean, it's like they have all the crazy stuff during the in between innings, and
then I haven't.
A pig.
Does Bill Murray show up?
He was like, I think he was a part owner at one time, or is he involved? He used to come all the
Now
time.
everything's kind of changed now that they've become a minor league affiliate.
But they've still
They
kept
used to
some
be
of the
just amateur
little
ball.
shticks.
Yeah, they have some people dancing up on the dugouts.
A pig brings the balls between innings
out.
to the umpire.
Well, that's cool.
Like,
yeah.
Pigs need jobs, more than being bacon.
Yeah. But it was
Speaking of bacon,
it was really touching.
Pizza toppings?
Yes.
Let's get back to the game.
But this documentary, even if you're not a baseball fan, I think it's because it's a baseball documentary and hardly talks about the game of baseball. It's
Was Bill Murray in that documentary?
They didn't interview him, but they showed some clips of him and stuff.
Nice.
But a lot of it, especially the last third of the movie, really centered around his relationship with his daughter, who had a degenerative, or neurological disease that caused her to go blind at a young age. But that was really touching, and definitely got some tears from me having a little girl. But no, it was awesome. And full circle with Dodgers / baseball and Chadwick Boseman. Have you seen 42?
I have not.
Which was his
but
first
that sounds
really,
awesome.
I think, big.
Yeah, it was his. I think it was his
role
big break.
Where he played Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
That was
Harrison
really
Ford's in that. Mm-hmm. Harrison Ford.
Brent Tricky. Yeah.
I more and more have realized he actually is a really good actor.
He is.
Because I always growing up, I'd just watch Indiana Jones and Han Solo, and it's like, how much acting do you have to do?
Kind of like the comedic,
right?
action,
the gruff,
kinda.
yes. He's, that's why people have said Chris Pratt should be Indiana Jones because he fits that mold.
He might be a little too goofy though.
He's probably a little too goofy.
Well, he kind of has some of that though in Jurassic Park. Right?
Yep, I think that's why people have said. But seeing him in Shrinking. Apple TV.
That's phenomenal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Definitely not for kids.
Not for kids.
Not at all. But
adult
Harrison
show.
Ford is
He's really
incredible in that.
He's really good. Yeah, he is.
But I want to know about this pizza toppings.
All right. So you got to rank in order 1 to 5 the topping that I give you. Now, where you put it on your
okay.
list.
You're going to give me a topping.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And
I have 5.
Him playing, not me.
Yep.
Pre-selected toppings.
Okay.
You could play 2, Andy. You could have your own ranking.
Okay. Do I have to do it?
Cheese isn't.
Or should I keep track of anything?
You don't have to keep track of anything. It's not that serious.
You're going to
obviously.
keep track of something?
I just wrote down 5 things, so I got it here. Right. So you just have to rank the one I give you on your list of 1 to 5,
okay.
and it stays in that ranking. You can't change order. So you got to be strategic on: do I leave number 1 open, or is this definitely my number 1?
This is like
without
our
knowing
pizza
what's
topping
coming next.
draft.
Without knowing.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
Ranked number 1 through 5, and we're not doing cheese. I know, I don't know if you heard Andy. I was telling that's kind of a given.
Not really a topping.
No, that's a given.
It's
but that was the example. Cheese. If I said cheese, you have to think okay, is that 1 or is that 3 or
that would be 1?
Okay,
obviously.
So cheese is a given. Okay, in your 1 to 5 pizza ranking, where would you rank pepperoni?
4.
Ooh, low. That's probably the most popular.
So 1's
behind.
good.
1 is your
bad.
your high.
5 is the least. Okay.
No.
Typically in rankings, Andy, number 1 is your top ranked.
But 5 is the most, so that's the best. You say.
A 5-star review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say, what year were you born?
We're not doing
That's less than-
reviews. We're doing rankings.
Okay, 3.
So pepperoni's 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Pepperoni, I would say,
Since it's the first one, I
got to
just
be
went
the most popular
I just went safe.
topping. Would you say?
Probably
as far
is.
as like
I'm not a big fan.
universal. Okay, neither is Jordan. Jordan's like, nah, I don't need pepperoni. All right, whatever. So that's 3 and 4. Let's go with mushrooms.
5.
Right to the bottom, huh? All
Yep.
right.
I do like mushrooms.
Everything has to be better. The next 3. I'm like,
You don't know.
It
I
has
don't
to
know.
be better.
Maybe. You could play along, by the way, if you're
Yeah.
with us online here.
I'm a little scared you're going to
Celeste.
choose worse things now.
Celeste says
I'm
that's
gonna go
so
2. I like
2017,
mushrooms.
the
'Cause I
Bible
would do
says to
like-
forgive. Yes, I may forgive the Astros, but I will not forget.
I will, because I love like sausage and mushroom,
Okay,
But anyway,
you can't
so
you
mushroom.
can't put a combination on there. This is my game.
All right. Okay, Greg.
Where'd you put it?
2.
2 for mushrooms?
Well, I
Wow,
went
that's good.
sausage.
And you were
or I
5
went-
for
Yeah.
mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go pineapple.
5. I don't really care for.
But Hawaii. What about Hawaii?
I love Hawaii. I like pineapples away from.
I know.
Not
Same. I'm
Not
same.
hot pineapple.
Same. It should not be on pizza.
Although Pizzeria Lola, they have a Hawaiian.
here we go.
A
With the
Hawaiian
exceptions.
They have a Hawaiian 5-0 pizza. I'll eat any pizza from that place.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But
You say
5.
so.
I'm going to put it at a 2.
2.
Yeah.
Big pineapple guy.
I do like pineapple.
So is it safe to assume then that like Canadian bacon would
Oh,
be
yeah.
at 1?
Well, if it's together, but yeah, I mean.
You can't combine
it's-
them, Brax.
Yeah, I know. But it would be up there, yeah.
No Canadian
Canadian
bacon,
bacon's
which,
just
by the way,
ham. It's
Canada,
just
we know
ham.
it's ham. We know it's ham, Canada.
It's just a little bit more cooked ham. That's all. Yeah, I'll put it at a 2.
Crazy Canadians.
Yeah.
Doesn't even taste like maple. Yeah, I thought.
No, yeah, what the heck?
I'm a little disappointed in this Canadian wildfire thing. It smells like smoke, not maple. I think it would smell like maple syrup. Where'd you put it?
I put it at a 2.
5.
I'm not keeping track. So,
5.
Yeah.
all right. So what do we do? Pepperoni,
Pepperoni, mushroom,
mushrooms, pineapple.
Yep.
All right. How about sausage? Just Italian sausage, I
1.
guess specific.
Yeah, 1.
Number 1.
Yep.
I would say that's got to be up. I think that might be my 1 too.
You know who has Sarpinos?
Yep.
They have
They're good.
amazing because it has a little sweetness to it.
Yeah.
And they cut them up into these instead of like ground sausage, they cut them up into like these little ovals. So good.
Is it julienne?
I
Is
don't
that julienne?
know what that
Chuck?
means.
Ask your brother. It's a method of cutting where it's like it would be circular, but it's kind of angled.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Is
it
that
comes out
julienne?
more of a oval. Yeah, I think so. I know. Celeste would know. She's a good cook. Tacos al pastor with pina. Well, of course. Yes. We're talking pizza. She's talking Mexican food, which is more my language here. That I will take al pastor any day over any pizza.
You ever
And
been
yet-
to Pizzeria Lola?
If they make an al pastor pizza, then I would take it. So, yeah. Also, if it comes on a tortilla.
They make an amazing Korean barbecue pizza. Oh, so
Ooh, man.
So are we on number 5?
Yep.
This is painful.
Hey, we're the one.
Okay, don't knock it until you try it. But I'm saying, where would you rank as your pizza topping? What slot do you have left open?
I only have 3 open.
I have
A
4.
3 and a
open.
4? Corn.
Oh, dang it. Greg.
See, I'd take corn over pineapple though.
Yeah, oh, interesting.
I wouldn't take. I wish I had 5 open. But other
Now
than that, I
that's
feel
the
like I
game.
did pretty well.
You did all right. That's
Because there's no way that corn would beat pepperoni
Well, fun fact.
in my mind. Like, I haven't tried it, but
my friends,
granted, I think that mustard on an Oreo tastes great now. So,
you've been hanging around with your father-in-law way too long.
no, it was for
That
our
sounds like
first
something
game
Dan
at youth group.
Will pack in his lunch on purpose.
It does sound like that. Yeah.
Oh, you got Oreos and mustard?
Oh,
Don't throw that away.
have you ever tried this? Oh,
God, I love
so
that.
good.
He would literally eat
would.
anything and be excited about it.
It's how it, you stay like zesty about
Yeah, I
life.
guess.
It's just like,
guess.
oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sell it, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
I believe Dan loves whatever he's eating because
Yeah.
He's
so
like
excited
a human
about it.
trash compactor though.
I
He'll
know,
eat
he
anything.
will.
Yeah.
He's kind of like my dog Scully. He'll eat anything, doesn't get sick. It's insane.
I eat stuff off the floor. Like different jobs that I would work, people would accidentally drop something, This one guy, Mike, that I worked with,
Yeah.
he'd always be like, people would be like, oh, and Mike immediately would be like, he'll eat it. Go for it. Won't you? And I'm like, yeah, it's good food.
What if it was something you didn't like to begin with?
Then I probably wouldn't.
Like off the plate, but you take it off the floor?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Just for the challenge.
So anyway, corn is a widely consumed, popular pizza topping in the Dominican Republic, which is weird. When I was there, we got pizza one night. They're like, corn, we got to get corn. Do you like corn on pizza? I'm like, can't say I've ever tried that.
You know, it'd be wild.
And then they got it, and I'll tell you what, tastes exactly like you think corn on pizza would taste, and not that good.
What if you
So
did like
it's corn. It just tastes like you're eating corn, a bite of corn, and a bite of pizza. It didn't like add.
They don't
anything.
complement each
No.
other very well. Okay.
No.
Corn's not really a Thanksgiving thing, is it? But what if
Yeah,
you did
it
like a
is, kinda.
Thanksgiving pizza where you had shredded turkey,
That would be
you
bad.
had corn, you
Yeah.
had some stuffing.
Mashed potatoes or like
Mashed
sweet
potatoes
potatoes.
could be like you just smear it on. The top.
That's
Why are
gravy.
you
Gravy
ruining
instead of sauce.
Thanksgiving?
You put gravy. You put gravy.
Why
in.
are you doing this? Does Pizzeria Lola have that?
No, but
They should.
we should invent a Thanksgiving pizza.
You know what we need? More Thanksgiving music. I've been telling all my music
Yeah.
worship pastors forever.
Yeah.
I
Why
think-
doesn't anyone have a good Thanksgiving
I
album?
thank God.
Why aren't there good Thanksgiving
There it is.
songs?
Yeah,
That's true.
I thank God.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the church has
thank you,
the,
God,
the
for
market
saving me.
on
Okay,
Thanksgiving
but that's
songs,
not
actually.
like a Thanksgiving theme or like something. You,
I think it
you hear
is. He just
Christmas
said
music,
thank
you
you.
know it's Christmas music.
What songs would you put on a Thanksgiving album?
I'm not the musician here. I don't know. That's why I'm
But you
saying
have-
write one.
You feel like you have the right to complain about it.
No,
Well,
I'm not
what would-
complaining.
what would a
I'm just saying
Thanksgiving
there's a
song
market there that potentially
sound like?
you can upgrade the blessing with the royalties that you would make off a Thanksgiving album that no one else has. I'll tell you what. I told some friends in the early 2000s, you know what? Someone needs to start making some modern hymn out, like modernize some of these old hymns and
Yeah.
put them out.
And look what happened.
Everyone laughed at me.
Well,
look
Passion
what
came out
happened.
with a whole album of all hymns.
Yeah. After I had that idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You should sue for
should.
taking your IP.
I got lots of
there.
great
Call Louis
ideas.
Giglio up.
I will.
Yeah.
Sue them.
Yeah.
I will. And while you're at it, dude,
Sounds like the
untuck the
Christian
front of
thing.
your shirt. That belt buckle front of your shirt tuck in thing, it's not
That's
working
such a
anymore,
niche
Louis.
joke.
If you know Louis
Yeah.
Giglio, you know it.
You even see like golfers do that too. Have you seen golfers?
Yeah.
He ain't golfing when I see him. He's preaching.
He has a golf ball.
Does he?
If you were a golf,
that's
the Earth
right.
was a golf ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I love
Louis
Louis.
Giglio is
He's got
great.
one message: God's big and you're not.
Yeah.
That's
And he loves you.
then he
think
does
he
it
has
well
that at
every
the end.
time. He's
Yeah.
good.
It says something about his dad doing the logo for Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Untuck that shirt, dude, or tuck it all in. Either.
Yeah.
Commit.
Just
is
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe he's trying to be in the world, but not of it. It's a symbol.
Yeah. Yeah. He's walking both sides of the line there.
Yeah.
I will say my men's small group last fall we did the Acts study on Right Now Media that he has, and it's a really big overview of Acts because it's only like 4 or 5 weeks, and but I think he filmed like every session in one day, and it was really distracting
Because
because
he was wearing the same clothes.
his lips were so chapped, like you could tell he kept licking, and so he had that huge red ring. So
Louis,
distracting.
come on.
But still good.
Yeah, that's good.
But
Just
honestly,
don't look at him.
just untuck the shirt thing. I mean, come on, Louis. It's good.
So you're currently working full time.
Hey, Celeste, Andy says all Mexican food is the same thing. How about that?
Are you trying to start a fight right now?
It's
on
3
the air?
ingredients. What do you say? It's all the same. It's all the same variation of 3 ingredients.
It's a Jim Gaffigan joke.
Yeah, it's a bad one. It's
It's
an
a hilarious
uninformed.
joke though.
Uninformed.
Sounds kind of
All
problematic.
the same ingredients, just mixed in a different way.
Yeah. Isn't all food
Meat,
Can't-
cheese, tortilla.
Okay.
Yeah,
meat,
those are the main food groups. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
What do you eat, Andy? It's meat, cheese, or
what
tortilla?
kind of? There's
No
all kinds of.
cheese. No
Each
cheese.
meat has different flavors. I don't know if Jim's aware of this.
Take it up
Sorry.
See, she says as I can say that as a Mexican.
No, you can't.
To be honest, he is right.
No, he's not.
I'm not me. It's a Jim Gaffigan
No,
joke.
but you're the messenger.
Kill the messenger.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's the same but different. Thanks, Celeste. See,
Different. See?
Celeste is a peacemaker, I think.
yeah,
She's just displayed right there.
yeah. Speaking of peacemaker,
Yeah.
that was kind of the basis for Paul's sermon last week.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into detail, but what's your relationships with your neighbors like?
I have good neighbors, but I don't know them very well. So when we had our garage fire,
Yeah.
one of our neighbors, our next door neighbors, they ran over, and Carrie was
Is that the one with the big, the trailer?
Yeah.
Yep. The
Yep.
camper.
Yeah. Carrie ran over and was like, "Hey, do we need to call anybody?" And I'm like, as my garage is like burning behind me, I'm like, "Well, we already called 911." So.
Oh, sorry.
I had such opportunity to walk away from that like an action hero, and I just didn't, which is really unfortunate. But
slow motion.
I could have, yeah.
What the
I
fuck?
could, while Jess is crying, holding the kids, I'm like, Jess,
Just take your phone
get a
out.
slow mo of me walking away from the garage.
I can use this for youth
It
group.
would have been so
sometime.
cool.
It would have been.
I even had a tie on, I think, at the time because I had come home from church. But anyway, they came over, and Rob saw that I had my propane tank for my grill out in the driveway, so he grabbed that
Yeah,
and
good
moved
call.
that away.
Good call.
And then Rob, kind of saw we didn't have any means of clearing our driveway during the winter, so he would come over and just clear our driveway for us. So really, really nice people.
Cool.
We just haven't had we've got, I'll make my excuses. We've got 3 kids all under 4 years old. I'm wrapping up seminary. Jess works part-time, homeschooling the kids. I'm working full-time. I've got my excuses. But in this series, we've been thinking okay, how do we connect with our neighbors more? But yeah, we know Rob and Carrie a little bit.
So you just for as far as I can see, you just have the one neighbor on the one side, and then it's like the main 10. Is it 101?
Yeah, 10
10
is right next
that's
to us. Yeah.
It's less. It's one less.
Yeah, so
Dairy
for
Queen. Dairy Queen's one of your-
for this whole thing, of this chart, I'm just I have
That.
these 3.
Oh, so there's
And
somebody
then-
on the back side of you?
Yeah, well, their backyard is next to our backyard.
Okay.
But we've got Rob and Carrie are right next to us, and then Jesse and Hannah are
Kitty corner.
right there.
What's in the backyard? Is there a fence back there? Or is there
Yeah.
trees? So it's kind of
We've got a fence.
separating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really nice with the dog that we have,
Right.
to keep him contained, and with the children that we have to keep them contained. So yeah, we're trying to figure out how do we make more connections with them, and then across the street from us, across 10, I don't remember their names, but we had the Petersons over on Sunday night, and one of their good friends is right across 10, and the guy wrote a book. And so Jeremy was like, you know what I should do is I should give you a copy of his book, and you should go across 10 and ask him to sign it for you. And then be like, and this is weird. I'm a big fan, and this is a little weird, but I live right over there.
That's funny.
So I really want to do that now. But yeah, that's kind of,
What book is it?
And then
I don't know. I have to ask him. Yeah.
I notice you prefer Coburn's over Cub, and when you go to Coburn's, I notice in your cart you have this,
Right, just tell them all. I've been noticing that you get gluten-free stuff a lot. Is that because you're gluten-free, or is it
just,
because your wife is
trendy, or is
gluten-free?
do you have celiacs, or is it just yeah? That's funny. That would be awesome.
That'd be so fun.
That sounds like something Jeremy would come up with too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of our neighborhood. I'm debating whether or not to do trunk or treat this year, or
Stay home.
or stay home and actually go and hand out candy.
Oh, you go
Do a
out.
reverse.
Reverse.
Because it's like I was at home last year and no one came, and we had candy.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if no one's going to come to us, then go to them. Like, I don't know.
Is that something that people do? Or would
I don't
that
think
be
so,
weird?
but I'm a
parents
little
be
odd,
like,
so-
stay away from that guy. Like he's
Oh, I guess I didn't think about
giving
that.
out candy.
But
like,
I have a Spider-Man costume,
Yeah.
so it'll be fine. I don't know. But trying to think
which
of ways.
Spider-Man.
Scarlet Spider.
Oh.
For Micah Cruz and I made that over the course of like 7 hours in order to be ready for the Across the Spider-Verse movie. And that was awesome.
I was. Watched it again the other night. It was great.
I realized that I needed to lose some weight after that because spandex really shows off everything.
accentuates.
Yep.
It lets you know. I had to suck in the entire time that we were at the theater, so little kids weren't like,
It would be like
oh no!
It'd be like the one variation of Spider-Man from the animated one.
Peter Parker when he gets.
One Peter Parker, the one
Peter
one
B.
that-
Parker
Yeah,
Yeah.
that has his kids, and he's
Yeah.
got like, yeah.
He's got the
Yeah.
gut.
Yep.
Where'd you keep your keys? Your
I
wallet. Where's
I
your
actually
wallet, your keys?
well, two things. So one,
You don't have to answer.
I
It's
think
okay.
I gave my stuff to Colin because he was Noir Spider-Man and he had a
Oh, yeah.
trench coat and he had pockets. But the spandex that I have
Nick Cage.
for the spandex that I have for my pants actually are like athletic, so there are pockets.
Okay.
So I could just put my phone in there. So
Yeah, but you're like keys are jingling and like
right,
loose,
yeah,
loose change
Yep.
as you're
It
walking.
was
trying to
so
be
funny.
Spider-Man.
So when we did the theater gig for St. Michael promoting the movie, I forgot some. Oh, I forgot. I think it was my bag of stuff. I forgot because I gave it to them, the people working there. And I'm like, hey, could you just hold on to that stuff until you know?
So when you left, you forgot it.
I forgot it. So I had my Spider-Man mask off at this point, and my hair is down. Like I looked like Ben Reilly, that Spider-Man from that movie, like even more. And so I walk in like this. I'm like, hey, can I get my water bottle? And then I'm walking out, and there are people walking in. These like older folks that are coming to go see a movie, and I'm like, yeah, just leaving work. I just thought it was hilarious. I love doing that stuff. It's a blast.
It was fun. They probably walked away, and the guy probably muttered, "I think he's on drugs." To
Maybe.
his wife.
Maybe.
Probably. I like to think that.
Anything else from this neighboring series? Look, you brought the booklet and the
Yeah.
and the
I
magnet,
did.
Greg.
No,
Did you
I
have
was
stuff
reading.
to say about
Jim. I just saw Jim Whitela's on here. What's up, Jim? Can't help but think of the SNL sketch, NPR's "Delicious Dish." Yeah, it was funny.
it? I don't remember. Is it the?
It's like that lady that talks real.
It's not the Shveddy.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I just watched last night or this morning. Dana Carvey's been on his social media, been like releasing a bunch of old, or not releasing, but like resharing a bunch of old SNL sketches and stuff. And he had the one, I think he said it was his first sketch, the Choppin' Broccoli song.
Oh yeah, chopping bar.
And it's Sigourney Weaver in the background and
Yeah.
Phil Hartman. And
That was really
he's
good.
like, just your first sketch and you make these two people laugh is just fun. But anyway, that was before you were born, Brax.
Yeah.
I know who Sigourney Weaver is.
Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey.
He's the blonde guy from Wayne's World. Never seen
Oh.
Wayne's World, have you?
No, I haven't. But he was in
Church Lady. Does that
Church
sound
Lady-
familiar?
Master of Disguise.
Master of Disguise.
Master of
Yes,
Disguise.
That's
Yep.
probably his last movie.
He was hilarious in that.
He's really good at impressions.
Yes.
He did W, right? George W. Bush.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think. And he
Yep.
did before that though, who did he do? He did it.
I hate to say it, but he does a really funny Biden impression.
Oh, probably. No, he's really good at impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All kinds of them.
He did a short. He was on Theo Vaughn, and he did a short. There's a short
No.
social media short of him going on. But then he was also on this podcast called Smartless. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I heard
Smart
Jason
less.
Bateman had a huge meltdown the other day because his computer wouldn't work or
Oh
something.
well, it was the first time they tried to have Matthew McConaughey, and
Hey.
yeah,
All right.
and so one of the people's computers wasn't working, so he kind of flipped out, and it
Was
was
it-
funny. They actually played the audio.
Was it a legit meltdown or were like
I don't
playing
know.
it up
It's
like
hard to know. I think it was fake, but
Yeah.
because it doesn't seem
It was
like those-
Jason Bateman,
Will Arnett, and Sean
and-
Hayes. Do you know who Sean Hayes is?
See, that's the one
Was
I
he in
can't.
Arrested Development?
No,
No.
Two or
no.
okay.
The other two
Will
were
and
interested.
Grace.
Will and
Okay.
Grace,
And then
Yeah.
what else since then?
Was he Will?
He's been in
I
a
don't
few
know. I didn't
theater
watch it.
productions, but
He's the one that I can't. I don't know. I just can't. He's kind of
Can't.
annoying. I've tried listening to that a few times.
See, I
and
think
it's
he's probably the most genuine sounding one of the three.
he might be. He's
Yeah.
because he's the. Sounds bad, but he's like the least.
famous.
Yeah.
Right.
The lesser of the stars.
Right.
But
And they always just dunk on him for being gay, and it's funny because they
Yeah,
know
but-
they all know it's a joke, but yeah.
I don't know. It's
Dana
like
Carvey had an episode on Speechless, and it was hilarious because he kept in and out of impressions just the whole hour.
Yeah, he's
And it was-
really good.
It was so fantastic.
It's like who's the more recent? It's not. Oh, there's another guy at SNL that was really good recently. Jay Farrell. Jay Farrell, that guy. He did. He does like Denzel Washington and Jay-Z, and like he does really good impressions. And he could do them on the spot. I think I saw him on like Steve Harvey show or something. He was just naming a
I
guy
think I
and
know
he
you're
just like
yeah.
going in and out of.
I thought he was on Conan
Yeah.
or something.
Maybe it was
a late
Conan.
night show.
But he was doing all these impressions. It was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Anywho.
yeah, I think I saw that, and that was like his Denzel is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does that laugh, Jay-Z's laugh, just that just
Who's the guy who SNL guy who does that show on, called Barry?
Mary.
He's really funny.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
He's turned into the Andy Google
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader
Oh.
is funny too. He's got some funny
Yeah.
like there's this clip online where he's doing an impersonation of oh goodness gracious.
Dana Carvey.
No.
That would be
He
so
was-
awesome.
He was the poker guy across from Matt Damon in Rounders. The Russian one. They also made a movie being John Malkovich.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
does this impersonation
that.
of
Yeah.
John Malkovich in front of him. And he's like, "Oh, I'm John Malkovich." He's like, "I don't sound like that. You do sound like that." It's hilarious.
What happened to that guy? I haven't seen that guy.
Bill
forever.
Hader?
No,
Or
John,
John
Malkovich.
I don't know.
He did a movie that won't be released for like 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? That's
Which
classic.
I kind of
It
hate.
was a classic John Malkovich.
I was like,
Yeah,
you
that's-
gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, but also it's like, yeah.
Now I have to live this long to see this.
Yeah.
It probably is not even a real movie.
I think it was just a promotional
Right.
thing.
I think it was a joke.
Yeah.
Hey, you see that map I shared? Right there.
Map of states ending in Kansas.
Kansas and Arkansas.
There too.
That's it. I love that. Terrible maps.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's awesome. Arkansas is the only state mentioned in the Bible.
What?
Finish.
Yeah. What are you?
Finish it.
What are you talking about?
Arkansas. Noah looked out the ark and saw that it was still raining.
All right.
Okay. Are you done, Andy, with like your stuff? Because I have something. Asher's doing this project for his Bible class, and they're in Old Testament. They're in this semester. They're reading. I mean, skip around a little bit. But it's got to be 2/3 of the Old Testament that they're going to read this semester. And each chapter, they have to give like at minimum 3 sentences summarizing the chapter, and then 3 observations of the chapter.
Okay, hang on. They're going to read 2/3 of the Old
Something-
Testament.
It's
and,
probably about that.
and every chapter
That is a lot.
of the Bible, they're going to be doing.
Well, of that reading, like each chapter, they have to do. It's a huge. Yeah, I mean,
But they're just taking like
these are 8th graders. It's a big.
they're taking
that's-
specific chapters. They're not just going through like from beginning to end.
Well, I don't know. He's broken it up a little bit, but for now he's doing
So
like
let's-
Genesis 1. Tomorrow Genesis, like
So for Genesis 1, he's got to have a couple sentences.
3 sentences of summarizing Genesis 1.
And then like 3
Observations.
and then
observations.
3 observations.
And then
with-
Genesis
with
2.
the like a verse, reference.
So then Genesis 2, he'll do that
3
again.
more.
Genesis
Yeah.
3, he'll do it
Yeah.
again. That is insane.
It is. That's why he told
Especially
me about
for 8th grade.
Yes.
Oh my
like
gosh.
a-
I told Jordan was reading the Sylvan.
like a seminary thing.
He was telling me this last Sunday. We were heading down to Costco in afternoon in the car. I'm like, just talking about after the first week of school, how'd it go, bud? You got any classes that seem like they're gonna be hard? He's like, yeah, Bible. They told me about this, and I'm like, thinking. I told him, I'm sure it's not that bad, but I mean, well, and I'm trying to help him like not be so panicked about it. And then fast forward to that night, kids are in bed, Jordan and I are chatting, and she looks up online like his syllabus and she's reading it, and I'm like, that sounds like a seminary project.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Is this
and
a new
no,
teacher?
He's been there. In fact, I asked
That's-
someone else at
yeah.
the church whose kids
This is 8th
go
grade?
there a year. He has a
I would
kid
have
a year
guessed
older
this is
than
like a guy straight out
Asher.
of seminary.
No.
It would be like,
It's
all
like,
right,
that's
8th
something
graders.
Rax would have done.
Yeah,
This
like when
is
I first
crazy.
started, that is totally what I would
I
have
will
done.
say he's been really good with it, which that type of thing is daunting for him to think about. And so he usually
Yeah.
just like, I'm just kind of defeated. But you read a chapter a day, and then if you can keep on it, if you can keep up with it
Right.
day to day, it's not
Yeah.
bad. You read
Yeah.
a chapter and you could do that. It's if you skip a couple days,
Yep.
then you're like,
And you're
oh,
behind.
now I got to read 5 chapters and I got to do all.
So 15
Anyway.
observations.
It's
and-
amazing how often we can read through stories. And I know I talk about this a lot, but like you read some of those like childhood Sunday school stories that you're familiar with, like Noah. And then you read through a story again, like, huh, I don't remember that part. Like, and Asher's had some really good observations. One, the other day was when, God's telling Noah what to include on to the boat. What do you always think of?
2 by 2.
2 by 2, because the little songs, Noah took the animals 2 by 2, but there are some like where there's 7 pairs of birds, and there's extra for eating. And do you remember what else he brought extra animals for?
Well, there's sacrifice.
Sacrifice. That's what struck us is like,
Yeah.
even though everything else is going to be destroyed, there's still that idea, but like, no, you still need to pause and remember who I am. Like the sacrifice. And then the next chapter, after the flood and, after the rain, and it says, Asher's observation was, the Bible says, and God remembered Noah. And Asher's like, what was God just like, oh yeah, I forgot about this guy floating around on the boat. Like, it is kind of funny, like the
Yeah.
wording, like, and God remembered Noah. It's like, I'm like, yeah, Ash, you ever like walk out of the room and then come back because you forgot you left the sink running? Like, that's
Oh
what God-
gosh.
like God left the sink running.
Forgot the sink.
I don't know. It's interesting to go through some of those really familiar stories from time to time, because without the assumption that, oh yeah, I know how this goes, because you realize things like there were other animals for eating, also for sacrifice. Like that was a weird one to think about, why you would still have to stop and sacrifice and worship in that way, as if you still need that reminder of who God is, even though you're witnessing this. All right, you spared me and my family. Like, and the cool thing with, like I was talking with Asher too, it's not that my faith really, like I was like, Asher, not that my faith saves you necessarily, but because like my faith in Jesus and the way I live life can save you guys, because then you witness that and you come and you I guess you benefit from that in some way. And like, we don't know anything about Noah's family, his sons, his wife's sons, and their wives. We know Noah was a righteous man, and that was the other one. It's like he walked with God, and he was seen highly amongst the people. So it's like, love God and love your neighbor as yourself is not a new thing. Mm-hmm. That's like been God's thing from day one. Not literally day one, but you know. That was kind of a cool observation. It's like, oh yeah, like that's always been the thing. And that's why God picked Noah, because he was like apparently the only one that was living this out. And then also his wife, his sons, and their wives were spared. And then we're going through this, and you know, Asher finished that chapter, finished his stuff. I told him, wait till tomorrow when you read about how he just got drunk and naked in a tent after experiencing this, after being the one that God picked, and you know, be reminded to even, you know, to go through sacrifice and you know, and worship and all that. And still, after that, he just, his sons are shielding him in embarrassment. And like, we're just interesting creatures. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, it's a big assignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, not the only thing they have to do in that class, on top of like
I bet not,
6 or 7 whatever classes. It's pretty crazy.
Jeez.
But he's sticking with it.
That's awesome.
I've tried to make it on some nights when we can, make more like the family devotion time. And, you know, we'll just listen to the chapter in audio and then like at the dinner table or whatever, and then talk about it. But that hasn't really worked other than twice. I think once or twice. Yeah. It goes off the rails pretty quick, as you can imagine.
Yep.
Mostly my fault, but anyway.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not surprised, are you?
No, I would have thought it would have been Evan.
Where do you think Evan gets it from?
Got my DNA. He's got my, I guess, appreciation for humor and his mom's performance gene. And you put those two together.
It's a wild combination.
It's a wild combination. Yeah. And Riley's gaining on his heels. Man, that kid. Mm-hmm.
So you're wrapping up seminary?
Yeah, way to bring it back in.
How much more?
Yeah,
I didn't know you were in seminary.
Yeah. 12 more weeks.
12 more weeks.
And then that's it.
What are you guys studying right now, working on right now?
I've got a preaching prep practicum. So it's just using the worksheets that they hand out for specific passages, and you do your sermon prep that way. And then I talk to Ben every week, because he's my field supervisor for that. And we have meetings and talk about what I'm learning and all that. And then a biblical counseling in the local church class.
Cool.
So, yeah. And it was funny because I was supposed to take this class before I took the class I already took this summer. Which was biblical counseling and psychological theories. And as I'm doing a discussion board, the professor's like, you should have taken biblical counseling in the local church before this. Did you do that? And I'm like, nope. And then someone else, too, oddly enough, from Minnesota, because this is not a Minnesota school, she was also like, oh, I didn't do that either. So we're both like, oh. He's like, yeah, well, okay. Yeah, it is a prerequisite to do that, but our system doesn't stop students from doing that. So luckily I passed and counted still.
So is this one easier?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, a heck of a lot easier. Because, too, I had a little bit of experience from college. There was a discipleship class that was basically a biblical counseling class. We read, I think Paul Tripp wrote How People Change, and we read that for the class. And so I have a little bit of a basis, and then psychological theories is something that interests me because I want to learn how people work, in order to best help them.
Right.
And so that's why I was interested in that class, and this one's required. So it's been interesting. A lot of my conceptions of what biblical counseling has shifted. Because I used to think that biblical counseling was basically, maybe the most cynical way I would have put it is Christians who want to do psychology but don't want to put in the work to get a degree and a PhD in that. And then the other piece has always been in my mind that it's offering Christian platitudes to people's problems, and it doesn't really help. And that's been my perception of biblical counseling. But then these classes have defined it differently. And for me, that's been really helpful to see. I guess one of my biggest takeaways is that it's not about offering platitudes. The Bible, if studied deeply, does have the answers to our problems. But you have to do the hard work of studying deeply, like Asher's doing, to really see, okay, what is it that my problem really is, and how do I deal with that, and how do I, as a counselor, then help someone else to actually walk through this issue that they're going through, and then on the flip side too, it's been weird because I've been very much yes, the Bible, but also the psychological endeavor is really helpful. And now I've actually shifted to where I'm I'm not so sure how helpful the psychological endeavor is, just because of the different theory. There's no cohesive this is how we do this. The DSM is even in their introduction. They're just saying this is how we would diagnose something based off of data that we see. But these are just kind of placeholders. We don't really know what's for sure going on in there. And then we don't even know the best way of helping someone get out of this. Right. And then that's where the theories come in, where it's you've got Freud, you've got Rogers, you got cognitive behavioral therapy, which in my mind, cognitive behavioral therapy is the most akin to Christian counseling because it has so much to do with changing the way that you think. And Romans 12:2 has something to say about that. But it's been weird because I'm very much not I'm not fundamentalist. I'm not this is the only way that you do Christianity and there's no other way. And if you try to do it a different way, then you're not a Christian. And I try to learn a lot from the different scientific disciplines and stuff. So to have me now where I'm I don't really trust I trust people who are psychologists, but I don't trust the theories. And I think that's a difference. Is I can trust someone if they listen to me and I know them, but I don't trust these theories, these impersonal theories out there. Those don't seem to really have worldviews that actually line up with the Bible. And then it's of course you're going to find change. That's why people go to therapy, why people go to people who are not Christians for help, and they get help. Otherwise, no one would go to them. Right. Which actually, I have a podcast called Brax Tax, and we're talking about that in a 4-week series of how does God change your life? Does He promise to change your life? And we talk about that. There are other religions that promise life change. There are self-help and psychological theories that promise life change, and there's Christianity. And what you will find is that all of those different groups work for certain people. And so then Christianity doesn't have the corner market on life change. And that, I think, is something that the church actually has to recognize and deal with, and then we need to refine what we mean by life change, what we mean by the gospel, because I think that's something too, is that we very much equate the gospel with life change.
Right.
And then what happens, we're actually talking about this in this upcoming episode, which will air on Tuesday, is that what happens to a lot of Christians is they become a Christian, they experience a lot of life change. But then as time goes on, they might start backsliding, right?
Aggression.
Yeah, and things aren't going so well anymore. And then now you as a Christian have to deal with some questions of like, okay, if God promises me that he's going to change my life, why am I in this situation right now? Did God give up on me? Is God a liar? Or is there something deeply wrong with me? Am I even saved? All those questions. And then it's like, none of those questions are helpful to have when you're dealing with that regression. Like, it just discourages you even more. Mm-hmm. And to navigate that, and I'll show my cards. I don't think that God promises to change your life for you. And that's what we talk about in the podcast. So
it's good. So
yeah,
you'll be going all the way up to Christmas school, or do you go beyond that in January?
I think I'm done the first or second week of December.
Okay.
And then
you said 12 weeks, so 3 months.
Yeah.
How long you been? Is this 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to being done. Like, I love learning, but I'm like, this is the most senior slide for me. Because I really am enjoying youth group, and I'm just like, I just want to work. Like, can I just work and like plan stuff and
it'll still be there.
Yeah, I know. But I'm
this time next year, you're like, maybe I should go do a doctorate.
Yeah, well, I did get a little greedy. I looked into doing like a PhD.
That's always been my thing. But
oh my gosh.
Time and money is like the thing.
I looked it up, and I
barely wanted to finish my undergrad.
Let's see. I could make the time. That's what I keep saying. I could figure out the time part. It's more the financial. It's like but that's just always been my personal goal. Mm-hmm. So, and for a long time, I was like, I don't want to get D-man. I don't.
Right. No,
I don't see
wants
the
a demon.
No, it's a horribly unfortunate, or maybe ironic. It's a funny name for a doctor of ministry is demon.
Yep.
But also, what's the point? I don't get the point of it.
Isn't that just like extra seminary?
It's extra. Yeah, it's. Yeah. I would rather get something more useful and practical. Mm-hmm. So.
Plus, having doctor at the front of your name would be pretty rad.
Yeah, I would require that people call me doctor.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just Andy. I'd make Andy call me doc. Hey, doc.
Hopefully we'd be friends anymore.
Well,
if you force me to call you doctor.
I could write you a prescription for that.
Anything else, Brax, you want to share?
If you get a doctorate from seminary, you could write prescriptions, right?
I don't think that's how it works.
I think that's how it works. Doctor, you just scribble something on a piece of paper.
You should go back to school, Greg.
Nope, I think that's
it. You said there's some good stuff there, but one thing I think when you're talking about life change in the church and regression is, I wonder if the promise of life change God, Bible says we'll be transformed. Mm-hmm. But by the renewing of your mind, there is some work on our part. And I think that's what it's not as comfortable to tell someone like, God will change your life, but you have to work too.
Yeah.
Like, because we all want just like this instant, I'm metamorphosis, like I'm a butterfly.
But that's no different than in this, like in taking away the Bible, the Christian aspect of, like, say, for instance, weight loss.
Right.
Everybody wants to be skinnier, but you're not going to just
Yep.
go to Weight Watchers and then instantly be skinny, or go to, like kind of taking it the same approach as like all these different psychological theories and approaches to how to help somebody. Yeah. There's all these different weight loss programs and diets and all this kind of stuff, but it's all incumbent upon the individual doing
you still have to put
lot of that
work.
Yeah. Like even going to the chiropractor, I can go and get adjustments, but there's all these sort of exercises that I have to do on my own in order to supplement. And
you're not doing
work.
them, are you?
I am doing them. But
well, okay. So what I was going to say though, with the and I think we're guilty of in the church, the Christian life change thing is, if someone has genuine life change, and let's say it was behavior, like they were doing bad things.
Right. Yeah.
They're changed. They come to know Jesus. Their life looks different now. They're making better decisions. But the gospel's not behavior modification.
Yeah,
Like we try
yeah,
to sell that
exactly.
sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
You just got to be a better person. That's not really it. And I wonder if sometimes people get involved with the church and they're like, okay, I'm changed. I'm going through this life change. I'm changing my life and get more involved with church. And then, but some of my behaviors and my outlook don't really fit with church culture.
Right.
So maybe I'm regressing. Maybe I'm not the changed person because I don't do this or that thing.
Right.
And I think that's where the church may be guilty of adding to some of that regression, because we don't acknowledge that life change might look different than what we think. And
Yeah. You don't have to fit into
you don't.
our brand's mold.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually, this was one of my big takeaways personally from over the summer when Jordan and I got to go to Sunscape was, talking about this stuff and, what's personality and what is, just the way you process things, the way you act. Like, what is your personality versus what is your, behavioral choice, not to say like, oh, it's just my personality to go rob banks,
Right.
but
Yep.
Can't
help myself.
Bad choices. But there's a lot of personality and the way that we all process things differently and we all think through things differently or perceive things differently. And sometimes if you don't fit a certain mold, you look like, they're different, oh, that person's difficult.
Yep.
It's like, no, they just process things differently. And I don't know, we could get around some of that stuff and help people out a lot more, because I think if people don't fit in with, just go along with the way church culture, whatever local church you're part of, whatever, it could look like you're difficult, or it could look like you're not a changed person, or you're, I don't know, at some point you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not there.
Yeah.
And then you slide back into old habits. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to
you?
think that Northridge, we're welcoming of everybody.
Yeah.
You
And
would
it
like
is-
to think that, wouldn't you?
It is it can be a messy thing, and
Yes,
church
it is.
doesn't need to be this perfect looking on the outside. It's just we're all messy,
Yep.
and we're all regressing and advancing every single day of our life. And a big part of it is some of us just try not to reveal that to the world more than others. But the reality is that we're all in this journey.
Yeah.
And it's good conversation. Should probably spit out a few events before we take off here. We've been almost
Do it.
podcasting for an hour and a half.
Wow.
We got a men's barbecue competition coming up on September 24th. It's not like a cook-off. You actually cook it and then bring it to the event. It's going to be out at the Van Nutty's farm. There's going to be more than just a barbecue
Are
competition.
we calling it a farm now? That's what's funny.
That's what's on the thing.
I know. That's because that's what Josh Zahosky put on the.
Okay.
It's a Van and 90 farm. Like, that was a conscious decision.
All right.
Okay.
9/24/23 at from 5 to 8 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
Then there's a women's gathering on the 28th. It's going to be here
Yeah.
in the building in the worship center. There's going to be some worship, a speaker, some food, appetizers and dessert. That's on the 28th from 6:30 to 8:30.
Just two of the food groups right there.
That's right.
What?
Barbecue and desserts.
Or appetizers and dessert.
Oh.
Barbecue, too. 3 food
I thought
groups.
you were going to bring a dessert today, or is that a joke?
Yeah, I was going to bring that for Mike.
Oh, okay.
But he's not here.
Oh.
We got some Make a Difference stuff, mission stuff. Taste of Thailand, October 1st from 5:30 to 7. Our mission partners, Todd and Karen Indahar, are going to be here from Thailand. And you can come, eat some Thai food, and learn about what it means to make a difference in Thailand.
Seems
Then-
like we've made a trade.
What?
The Indahars for the Hutchcrafts. Is that what's happening here?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be out there.
Recorded. That's funny.
There's a Missions on the Move supper on October 7th from 6 to 8. And you're going to be hearing from people that have been on mission trips for the last several months, especially the ones throughout this last summer. Are you going to be at that?
October 7th?
Yeah.
From what time?
From 6 to 8, sharing some testimony about the mission.
I won't be
mission-
there, actually.
Okay. Other people that have been on mission trips this summer will be there to share their testimony. And then you'll also get some food and then hear about some upcoming trips.
Sean Brack's dessert idea.
Then on the 14th of October, there's going to be a combination marriage adventure scavenger hunt with a childcare night. So parents can come drop their kids off and then join the marriage adventure scavenger hunt from 5 to 8.
Sounds like a date.
There's going to be some appetizers, some dessert, some
Two of the food groups again.
scavenger hunt,
you need is
and then
barbecue.
also a little
Yeah.
panel from some maybe people a little bit further down the road when it comes to marriage and relationships, and it should be a good night. And then there you got the child care stuff, so all your kids can be taken care of. We got a couple middle school and high school opportunities. Brax, you want to share about those? We got
I
a middle school retreat.
So October 27th and the 28th, we have our middle school in-house retreat called Rite of Passage. I was just thinking about how in America, I don't feel like we have a whole lot of rite of passage, and how do we bring some milestones to our kids to for them to know, hey, I'm stepping into this new chapter of life where I'm taking more ownership over my faith, and what does the Bible have to say about rites of passage? So we're going to be focusing on that. We're going to be here in the church on Friday night. Everyone goes home after we're done on Friday, and then we're back here at 8 a.m. for breakfast. We are going to go to Blacklight Adventures in St. Cloud during the day for our fun. I love Blacklight Adventures. I actually went with the Bergrens and the Goodhams for like a birthday celebration back in May after we had done a middle school event there. They've got blacklight laser tag. They've got 2 escape rooms. They've got a VR lounge.
VR lounge.
Oh, dude, it is so cool. And the staff there makes it an incredible experience, and there's food there that we'll order in, and it's amazing. I highly, highly recommend. Like if you haven't gone, to me it's more fun than Dave and Buster's. It's so much fun. So we're gonna be there. The cost is only $20.
$20
for all of that.
Really?
including Blacklight Adventures.
Including Blacklight Adventures,
And all the
including
retreat
food,
stuff, Friday
all
and
the
Saturday.
stuff. Yep.
I
Yep.
will gladly give you 25 if you let my kids stay here.
Overnight? Sure, I just won't be
No, I'm
here.
just joking. No, I'm just joking.
So yeah,
That's
that's
a deal,
October
man.
27th and 28th. And
Granted,
then
They have
great.
to go to the website,
Yes.
click on events,
Yep.
click on that event to register your kids.
Yep.
Don't want to miss that. And then
Yeah.
for the high schoolers in November, what do we
November
got?
10th and 11th is Stand to Reason's reality conference. This year's focus is man or maker. And basically, this is an important conference to go to for all high schoolers because they're getting to that point where they're going to be going to college pretty soon themselves, or they're just going to be going out into the world where people aren't Christians and they're going to ask questions. And those questions are an opportunity for evangelism, right? To bring the hope of the gospel into these people's lives. But it's also an opportunity for us to examine what we really believe. And if you don't ask these questions before they ask you those questions, the odds of you deconstructing your faith to the point of deconversion is so much higher. So that is an apologetics conference. We're going to be talking about why we believe what we believe about God, his existence, why we believe what we believe about ethics, about sexuality, about all these different topics. There are breakout sessions. It's held at Grace Church in Eden Prairie. We're going to drive down from here, going down there Friday night, and then we'll be back Saturday all day. And we get food out there, and it's a great time to just get real about these questions that we might have and these real doubts that we might have. Because the enemy of faith is not doubting. It's unbelief. And so if you have doubts, if you have questions, November 10th and 11th, it's a great conference. We've been going the last few years. We've got some amazing speakers this year. Christopher Yuan, who I heard back in 2019, incredible man. He used to be a gay drug dealer, and Jesus met him in prison and turned his life around, and now he proclaims the faith that he once did not want to have anything to do with. Sean McDowell is going to be there as well. I was just listening to him on a podcast with Preston Sprinkle, and he's really great apologist. His dad was the one that wrote Josh McDowell. I've been trying to wonder, like, what was his name? But Evidence That Demands a Verdict.
For a while.
Yeah. Yep. So great conference. Right now, if you sign up, it's $59. That price will be going up in the next few weeks.
So once we get into October.
Yep. As Grace Church is filling up this conference. The first year that they held it, it was a little bit smaller. But their Grace Church, if you've been to Grace Church for like a Tim Hawkins comedy routine or something, it's a huge church. They're starting to pack out.
Right.
It's such a great conference.
So if you have a high schooler,
Yep.
just sign up today.
Just do it.
You get in on the best price and make sure that your student has the opportunity to go. And it's going to be both of those opportunities for our youth group are going to be amazing.
Yeah. And if you're concerned about, like, I don't know if any of my friends will be there, bring your friend.
Yeah.
And we already have people signing up for this.
Right.
So
I will say that was always in youth ministry a thing. Like, I don't know who's going to go. Like, I don't know if my friends will be there. And then you do the thing on the weekend, and then some kids disappointed because they realized their friends went and they didn't know their friends went.
Yep.
And it's like, just go.
Yeah.
If you want to go,
talk
just
to
go
each other.
and bring your
go.
friend with you.
Yep.
Come on Wednesday nights too.
Yeah.
We kicked off the kids, the
place is
3-year-old
packed.
up to 5th grade on Wednesday nights with Treasure Quest, along with our youth ministry program that we started last week. And so we had 128 kids. And
That
then we
sounds
probably
right.
had close to 90 youth.
Yeah.
And so there were well over 200 attenders,
Yeah.
not including the leaders and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Probably close
We have a huge team for kids and youth that are incredible.
close to 300
Yeah.
people collectively in the building last
Yeah.
night. It was an awesome night. So
Yeah.
join us on Wednesday nights. There's a few things coming up in November. We're going to be kicking off Operation Christmas Child with some special packing parties for our youth and our kids ministries. There's a child dedication in November over Thanksgiving weekend. Lots of stuff happening.
Baptism. If you want anyone wants to get baptized, do it.
Yep. Well, we had talked about doing one coming up here.
Like
Yeah, but it still has the weird date, August 13th. Anyway, we have one more week in our neighboring series, and then we're going to be kicking off a new series after that called Flourishing, and you don't want to miss that. It has a little bit of apologetics, a little bit of kind of modern conversations involved in that. So definitely don't want to miss that. If you have any questions about any of that stuff, events, or what's happening here at Northridge, let us know. You can email us, any one of us, especially if it's related to youth ministry. Email braxc@nrf.life or GREGGT@nrf.life or andys@nrf.life or office@nrf.life, or just stop in on the weekends. If you're curious what's happening, if you have a student they have yet to plug into the youth ministry, just come in on the weekends, go down to the youth room and check it out, or come on a Wednesday night and just check it out. You can look before you buy.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to believe what we believe in order to belong.
I promise if
Yeah.
you come, you'll be interested. You'll
Yeah.
want to hang out and get to know everybody else, get to know Brax. It should be good. We're excited about what's happening here at Northridge, and we're excited about the opportunity to see you this coming weekend, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Say goodbye, Greg.
Awesome. Goodbye, Greg.
Yeah. Say goodbye, Brax.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Brax.
Have a good one.
Brax.
See ya. Oops. We're going to still stream until I get all this turned off here.